Hello everybody, Spellsey back again with another video. So as you guys know from my last couple of videos, I put out a disclaimer that I was working on a current guide on how to make money without having to play the game all too much. This guide would be more of a Busy-scaper's guide to making money without having to sacrifice too much time by playing, but something that can still be done by mostly everybody. So what you'll see in this video is I'm going to show you guys how I was able to make 400k every day for playing about 5 or 6 minutes a day, which equals out to about 4 mil an hour over the grand scheme of things, which is about 3 million gold a week and nearly 6 million gold every 2 weeks. That's for playing 5 to 6 minutes every day. Now, it is good to note that this does come with a decent amount of requirements, but you can still participate in some of these activities with only having a couple requirements, and you can use this as more of a checklist to work your way into being able to get to the position where I'm at today. For what it's worth, if you're making 6 million gold every 2 weeks, not only are you paying for membership by hardly playing the game, so you never have to go ahead and buy membership with real life money, you can buy a bond for 3 mil, but you also get to have money left over. So depending on whatever your situation is, you might find out that doing this ends up not only netting you a decent amount of profit, but also means that you won't have to pay for membership ever again for the game. Now, it might sound a little fantastical, how do you make that much money by only playing for 5 minutes a day? Well, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking over what are called dailies. Now, dailies used to be a thing back in RuneScape 3 and pre-EOC, where you could pretty much just do a whole bunch of dailies all the time. There would always be tasks for you to do, but a daily is something that you can do either once a day or once a week or once in a certain period of time, but it's not something that you can do all the time. There's a cooldown for doing it. A good example is farming is usually considered a daily. Getting battle staves is considered a daily. Your diary rewards, whether it's getting flax or bowstrings or what have you, those are your dailies. So today's guide is going to show you the best dailies to do to maximize your time so that way you only have to play a couple minutes every day and you can still make money even if you're a busy person. Now, back when I was using my Nightmare Zone stuff to go ahead and max out my account, I was pretty much doing this every day, and that was about the only thing that I was doing afterwards. Not only was I making money doing it, I was paying for my membership the entire time, and I was really only playing the game for a couple minutes a day regardless, but I was making really good progress. It's perfect for someone who either has kids and can't play that much, but still wants to see a little bit of progress, or is at work all the time, or whatever. This is the best way for you guys to go ahead and capitalize on your time and still actually feel like you can play the game. So the first and most important daily that we're going to look at is farming herbs. Now, I know you guys have heard it before, but I don't know if you've actually seen the numbers broken down like this. Even if you only have a couple requirements, this will still net you a lot of money overall. So generally speaking, herbs give you money based off of just planting in the seed. So you plant the seed, you'll get herbs back. They usually grow, and there's a lot of ways to kind of ensure that those herbs grow almost all of the time, but then you get a profit off of it. And that profit is what's going to be the most of your GP that you earn per day. The cool thing about this is that farming runs are not a true daily. You can actually do a full set of herbs every single 80 to 100 minutes, which means theoretically you could do it 2 or 3 times a day, Do an herb run in the morning, do an herb run during your lunch break, do an herb run when you get back from work, and then do an herb run before you go to bed, right? You could theoretically do this 4 times a day and really not even waste too much time. You don't really have to play the game that much, especially because an herb run only takes 6 minutes once you have everything all set up. So first off, I'm going to show you guys what I have been doing, and then we'll work into more of what you can do so you can see similar gains. I do understand that a lot of people don't have all these requirements done. I do know that you guys can work into it and still be able to profit off of this to the best of your abilities. At the end of the day, it's still free money. You might as well do it. Now, in order to do a farm run, it's good to note that you will need a seed dipper, a spade, a rake, and make sure you're using 8 Ultra Compost. You can buy Ultra Compost straight from the Grand Exchange. It's relatively cheap. Just go ahead and buy it. You need Ultra Compost. And of course, you will also need the 8 seeds that you plan on planting. In this case, that would be Raynar seeds, as they give you the most profit per herb and have the best margins as of this date. And then I'd also bring some teleport to houses. Now, me personally, I'm going to be using my house to teleport all the way around. If you don't have a max house, which is certainly understandable, why don't you go ahead and swap worlds to World 330, go to Remington instead, and use somebody else's max house, so that way you can save time and make more money in a shorter period of time. It makes the most sense. And of course, having lightweight gear such as Graceful is a huge help, but if you're using somebody else's house anyway, you can go ahead and just get free run energy from their pool either way. And then you will need your Ectophile, you will need an Arty cape or a skills necklace, and then you'll need either a glory or your Explorer's Ring 3. And of course, magic secateurs are absolutely necessary. They give you 10% bonus yield. Make sure you bring them with you. So there's 9 total herb patches that you can use, that you can grow. Farming, I know, scares a lot of people who have never done it before. They think that it's really complex, but I promise you it's not that hard to do. And all you need to do to start this is have 32 farming. I'll be uploading a video here soon of how I was able to get 32 farming on a level 3 brand new account in only a couple of hours. So make sure you guys look for that video. Hopefully by the time you guys see this, there will be a little note or annotation in the top that'll show you guys what the video is. If not, just wait, it'll be up soon. But again, there are 9 herb patches. I'm only using 8 in this video. Those 9 herb patches are Falador, Catherby, Ardoin, Corinne, Mauritania, Troll Stronghold, Weiss, the Farming Guild, and Harmony. Now, everybody has access to the Falador patch, the Catherby patch, and the Ardoin patch at the start of the game. The easiest one to get next would either be the Corinne patch, which is in Zea, or the Mauritania patch, which is a little bit to the west of Canvas. The other patches are quest unlocks, but the cool thing about that is that those patches are actually guarded, which means that you can never have these herbs get diseased. Sometimes herbs do die, but on those patches they will always live. So when I do an herb run, which is what it's called when you go ahead and you farm only herbs, I can knock it out in about 5 minutes flat. The way that I do this is I use a fully built house. Luckily enough, my house is completely done. I have all the teleports necessary. However, the good thing is that you don't have to have a full house to utilize all the house teleports. What you can do instead is you can go to Remington in World 330 and use somebody else who's hosting a massive house party that has 99 construction, and you can use their house to be able to teleport around instead. That's what I was doing on my low-level accounts when I was first starting to do this, and that'll give you access to most of the farming patches that you can do, assuming that you have the quests and the unlocks for them. This will decrease your trip time, and overall it'll be a nice big quality of life for you. Again, herbs are your biggest moneymaker, but you absolutely have to have a couple things unlocked for them. The first one is magic secateurs. Magic secateurs are from Fairy Tale Part 1, and they give you 10% increased herb yield, which means every time that you go and you farm a patch, you get a 10% chance of getting more herbs. Overall, 10% extra herbs is 10% more profit for you, and it adds up a lot. In this case, it'll be about 15,000 gold profit every time you do one of these trips. Or at least I should say it's 15,000 gold profit every time I'm doing one because I have 8 patches. For 8 patches, you'll see somewhere in the ballpark of 150k to 160k profit. That means it's about 18k profit per patch. So even if you only have 5 or 6 patches, or even only 3 or 4, right, that's still free money, it's free experience, and it's easy for you guys to do. Again, herbs are the biggest moneymaker, and it happens to be one of the things you can do multiple times a day. If I was doing 3 herb runs a day at 150k profit an herb run for those 8 patches, I could be making 450k a day off of that. It's 5 minutes for an herb run. That's 150k every 5 minutes, pretty much as I want to do it. Now, the next daily on the list is buying battle staves. Battle staves are unlocked from Zaf's staff store in Varrock after you go ahead and you complete at least your easy Varrock diaries. I have my hard Varrock diaries done, so I'm able to buy 60 battle staves a day. Now, a good rule of thumb is every single battle staff you buy, you can usually turn about 1k profit. You'll be able to buy them for about 7k from Zaf every single day, but you'll also be able to sell them for about 8k to the Grand Exchange every day. So whether you have 15 staves that you can buy per day from easy, 30 from medium, 60 from hard, or 120 from elite, that's going to be either 15k profit, 30k profit, 60k profit, or 120k profit every day just for going to Varrock for 30 seconds. Now the next daily is your Kingdom of Miscellanea. Kingdom of Miscellanea usually has a pretty advanced way of figuring out whether or not you're going to make profit off of certain items. I will say, generally speaking, it is in your best favor to go all of your workers into mining and half of your workers into teak hardwood. That does change periodically, and it will most likely change after I make this video, but just keep that in mind. The way that your kingdom management works is that if you give money and you leave money in your coffers, the kingdom will go ahead and gather resources from you. You need to have at least 750k in the coffer at all times, but it will take out 75k every day. The good thing is that after it takes that 75k, it'll actually give you about 40,000 gold extra in resources. So you're going to be making 40k in profit every time. All you have to do is go ahead and sell that to the Grand Exchange. Now you can start doing this once you have completed Throne of Miscellanea, but the big one is going ahead and doing Royal Trouble. After Royal Trouble, you will get about 50% more workers, and that'll give you, of course, 50% more resources. As a good rule of thumb, I usually leave about 2 mil gold in my coffers every time, and then I try to remember to fill it up once every 2 weeks. This way my coffers never fall below 750k, which means I'm constantly getting the most resources possible, and now I also don't have to check on it every day. However, what I do make sure I do is that I make sure that I teleport up there very quickly once a day to go ahead and rake some weeds out of a farming patch and get myself and keep myself at 100% favor at all times. By keeping myself at 100% favor every day, I go ahead and I am able to get as much profit as possible. Now, it is good to note that you can go ahead and change your resource allocation at any given time. Just make sure that you change it before you collect it. So even if you have your coffers running for 2 weeks and you change all of the resources at the last minute, it does not matter. You will go ahead and get 2 weeks of whatever resources you just recently switched to. Keep that in mind because you're going to want to make sure that you're allocating the correct resources and getting the most money off of it. So feel free to change it at any given time if you think that you're about to make more money by doing something else. There's a lot of stuff behind it. I would check out the RuneScape wiki and make sure that you're allocating correctly. Now, the final daily that I utilize is buying herb boxes. So herb boxes, as you guys may have known, are one of the rewards that you can buy from Nightmare Zone. You can buy 15 per day at 9,500 NMZ points each, and that costs about 142k points per day. The good thing is that those 140k points a day actually ends up netting to about 140k average profit daily as well, just from the herb boxes. And you can do that every single day. That is your second biggest moneymaker that you'll see. Now you may be asking, okay, well you have to be able to get 140k points every single day, then it's obviously not useful to do in a daily run. That's not necessarily true. There are guides that allow you to get somewhere in the ballpark of 2 million Nightmare Zone points per hour. And just to break it down, if you were able to get 2 million points in 1 hour, that means that you would have enough points to go ahead and buy herb boxes 15 every day for 2 weeks straight. So is 1 hour worth 140k daily for the next 2 weeks? Of course it is. Soup has a pretty good video on it. I have not personally made a video on it yet, although I have thought about it. I might do one in an upcoming video, but make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Just search NMZ Guide 2 mil points. It'll pop up. It's really helpful. Also, if you were using any of my past NMZ videos, you should actually have some leftover points then either way. Remember that doing Nightmare Zone Hard Rumble gives you the most points possible, although it is not the most AFK. So let's break down the profit real quick. In one 6-minute run, I did 8 herb patches and made 160k profit. I also got 15 herb boxes, which is 140k profit. I also got my 60 to 65 battle staves, which is about 60k profit. And then I was able to get 1 full day of Kingdom done, which is about 40k profit. That is 400,000 gold profit in 6 minutes every day. It's pretty hard to pass up. So if you're getting 6 mil for free every 2 weeks, not only are you getting free membership by buying a bond for 3 mil, which will last you those 2 weeks, but then you can also go ahead and pocket the other 3 mil regardless. It's really a win-win situation, and if you're not utilizing it or working towards getting these stats, you're very much so wasting your time. So get the most out of your time and try it out. Now you may be thinking, okay, well what can I do to get to the point where you're at? Because maybe you're a new player, right? The very first thing that you want to do is you want to get 32 farming. Get 32 farming and then go ahead and start working towards getting as many farming patches as possible. By doing that, you will be able to go ahead and start making the most money possible. So after 32 farming, what you should do is you should go ahead and do Fairy Tale Part 1 and get your magic secateurs. That gives you that 10% bonus yield, and that'll be one of the most important things that you can do. Now next what I would do is I would work on getting 50% Hasidius favor, so that way you can unlock the farming patch that's in Hasidius in Zaya. This is a protected patch. After that, once you hit 34 farming, you should really consider going ahead and getting 100% Hasidius favor, just so that way you can have a teleport nearby without any requirements. Getting 34 farming and 100% Hasidius favor will allow you to teleport to the Tithe farming minigame, which is just a short jog away from the Hasidius patch. This is a great alternative if you don't have the construction level to teleport to a house that's over in Zaya, or if you don't have your Xerix talisman yet. However, those would be the next best things to work on as well. Do keep in mind though, you can use other people's houses in Remington to get to all these places either way. That is probably the best way to do it until you start getting a little bit more situated and have a little bit more resources. After that, you're going to want to work on getting your ectophile. Now, by working towards getting your ectophile, not only will you unlock the Mauritania patch, but you'll also unlock a quick teleport to it as well. The ectophile is one of the most useful things that you can use in order to get to these patches, and will unlock you a patch regardless, so you might as well go ahead and knock that out sooner than later. After that, we want to go ahead and be able to get around a little bit quicker. I would suggest that you guys go ahead and do your Lumbridge Medium Diary and your Ardoin Medium Diary. The Lumbridge Medium Diary will give you an Explorer's Ring 2, which will allow you to teleport to the cabbage field just south of the Falador farming patch. And the Ardoin Cloak 2 will be able to teleport you right to the Ardoin farming patch. Now, until you get those, the best way to teleport to those places respectively would be to either glory in to Draenor and walking all the way to the Falador farming patch, or to teleport to the Fishing Guild or to the Ranging Guild and then walk south all the way until you hit the Ardoin farming patch. Although it's not that bad, you will want to be careful because you'll end up using a lot of run energy, but it can still be done. However, I wouldn't do it for too long. I would really work towards that. Once you have all that done, it's going to be time to unlock a couple more herb patches. The next one you should go ahead and do is My Arm's Big Adventure quest. This will unlock one more herb patch, and it will also allow you to start working on unlocking your second herb patch. Now, after you complete that quest, that herb patch is protected, so it's very nice to have. Remember, protected herb patches are guaranteed profit. After My Arm's Big Adventure, start working towards making friends with My Arm. This will be able to unlock your farming patch in Weiss, but it also gets you Icy and Stone Basalt, which are rewards for making friends with My Arm, but there also teleports directly to the farming patches in Troll Stronghold and in Weiss, respectively. After you've done all of that, you'll now have 7 patches unlocked. So keep using those 7 patches until you get 65 farming. Once you get 65 farming, you'll unlock the Farming Guild, and with that, you'll unlock an extra herb patch. Surprisingly enough, this herb patch is not protected, but by getting 65 farming, you unlock the ability to go ahead and plant Addis seeds, and Addis seeds are bonus seeds that allow you to go ahead and get extra yield off of your farming stuff. Extra crop yield means extra herbs, which is pretty much a win-win no matter what. I try to remember to use them all the time. You have to get them from the farming boss though. The farming boss is very easy, but sometimes it doesn't drop them. Fortunately, I still have a couple left. So at this point now you have 8 different patches. You also might be noticing that you're maybe trying to do more herb runs a day than you have teleports to, because some of the diary rewards don't necessarily allow you to teleport as much as you'd like to. So the next thing that you should do after that is get your Ardy Cape 3, get your Explorer's Ring 3, and get your Fremy Hard Diary done. Now the Fremy Hard Diary ends up letting you teleport directly into the farming area for the Troll Stronghold area. The Ardy Cape 3 ends up getting you more farming patches to the Ardoin farming spot, and the Explorer's Ring 3 gives you unlimited teleports to the cabbage field, which gets you right next to the Falador farming spot. Once you have all that done in all 8 of those patches, then you can start setting up your house, so that way you don't have to use other people's houses or use other teleports. It'll make your life just a little bit easier. It usually isn't too expensive to set everything up, although getting one of the jeweler's boxes can take a little bit of time. And then of course, finally, you can work towards getting your Mauritania Elite Diaries done, and that will unlock the 9th farming patch. I don't even have that done, but once you get to that point, then you'll have pretty much everything you need. While you're doing that, it would be in your best interest to go ahead and try to get some of your Varrock diaries done. Varrock Easy, Varrock Medium, and Varrock Hard. At least try to get to Varrock Medium, as that'll be 30k extra profit a day. Varrock Easy is a good start though, and just kind of work towards doing that. I'm sitting at Varrock Hard right now and getting 60 battle stabs a day. It's very nice. And then of course, to unlock your kingdom, you're going to have to do Kingdom of Miscellanea, and then eventually work towards Royal Trouble so you can get the extra workers. You'll probably want to do these sometime before you get 7 or 8 patches, probably around when you have like 4 or 5, but again, the herb patches are what make you the most money. And then of course guys, just remember to do your NMZ periodically, get yourself some points, and then be able to buy those herb boxes every day. If you end up using Nightmare Zone to get a lot of your training done, you'll almost always have extra points regardless, and you'll be able to go ahead and spend them without even having to think into it. And that's pretty much all there is to it. However, if you are one of the people that managed to stay all the way until the end of the video, to show you guys my appreciation, what I've noticed in the past is whenever I do videos, the market tends to crash. I'm not saying that this video is going to blow up like the other ones will, and maybe nothing happens in the market, but on the off chance it does, if you've made it this far through the video, I'm going to show you guys how you can actually go ahead and figure out what makes the most money. First off, the Old School RuneScape wiki is your new best friend. If you go to oldschool.runescape.wiki and you go to the farming training section, if you scroll down to the bottom, it will show you which herbs make the most profit. Now this is good because what I just told everybody in the video is that they should be doing Raynars, which is true. Raynars at this very moment in time are the #1 best herb to farm. They only require 32 farming, they get you really good money, and you know, that's the profit's unbeatable. If that were to change for whatever reason, I would want you guys to go ahead and go to this spot in the wiki and for yourself, go ahead and figure out what is making the most profit, what has the best margins, and do that instead. Like I said, that's just assuming that the market changes, but I have swayed the market on the last couple of videos, so I can only assume that it might happen again. Maybe not to the extent of the rune arrows, but even if it changes a little bit, you guys are going to want to know what is the best possible moneymaker for that. Now, on the other side of things, on the old school RuneScape wiki, go to Managing Miscellanea as a section and scroll down. Near the bottom of the page, it'll show you what your expected profit is. This is really good to look at before you go ahead and allocate your resources, because you're going to want to know what makes you the most money. This stuff does change pretty much all the time, so make sure you check this right before you decide to collect. I don't collect very often. You really shouldn't collect every day. You should collect probably once a week at maximum. But right before you do that, go ahead and check this. Right now it shows that mining is the best profit, which is usually the case. And then for me at one point it said that cooked fishing was the best, and now it's not anymore. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put 10 workers into whatever gives you the most, and then put 5 workers into whatever gives you the second most. Generally speaking, that is mining and it is teak logs. However, I did just tell everybody to go ahead and do mining in teak logs, so that might change. All I'm saying is make sure you go ahead and take a peek at this before you actually go ahead and claim your stuff. That way you make sure that you get the most money out there. And if you scroll down to the very bottom of that page where it says Calculator, Other, Miscellanea, it'll show you all the expected profit and minimum profit. I would judge it off of minimum profit. But see, as you can see right here, it says fishing, cooked. It is the #1 best-selling thing. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because you have to usually sell it for 5% under, but do keep that in mind. Also keep in mind this is based off of 10 workers, so if I were to put 10 workers into fishing and 5 workers into mining right now, I would get 33k for those 10 workers, but then I'd only get half of that because I'm only using 5 workers, so I'd only get like 15k. So just remember that, keep those calculations. It's overall very simple, but make sure you have at least, like 2 mil in your coffers, refill it every 2 weeks, you'll be fine. Keep yourself at 100% though, make sure you teleport in. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure if you enjoyed the video, you found it helpful, found it useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'll be more accountable as far as uploading more videos, I promise. I have been playing a lot of other games recently, just branching out a little bit, but RuneScape is something that I should at least consider playing periodically, right? Go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be the first to be notified when I upload a new video. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you in the next video.